The town was quiet that night. The streets were empty, and only the soft glow of the street lamps lit the roads. A cold wind whispered through the alleys, making the old signs sway. No one was outside except for one man walking home from work. His name was David. He liked the silence of the night, but tonight something felt different. As David passed the small park at the edge of town, he noticed movement near the trees. At first he thought it was a cat or maybe a dog. But then he saw it clearly, a small animal, thin and shivering, with fur that looked soft in the dim light. Its eyes, they glowed faintly in the darkness. A soft, greenish glow that made David stop in his tracks. The animal looked scared. It stepped back cautiously as if it knew David wanted to help but was unsure if it could trust him. David knelt slowly on the ground. Hey, little one. I'm not going to hurt you, he whispered. His voice was calm, gentle. The animal tilted its head. It looked normal at first glance, like a stray dog. But David noticed small differences. Its eyes were too bright, almost too intelligent for a normal animal. Its movements were quick and precise, almost unnatural. David reached out a hand. Come on, it's okay. You can trust me. The animal froze for a moment. Then, with surprising speed, it darted away, vanishing into the nearby forest. David stood up, unsure what he had just seen. Wait. Come back, he called, running after it. The forest was dark and silent, except for the crunch of leaves under David's feet. He could barely see the animal, only its glowing eyes flicking between the trees. The deeper he went, the quieter the town became behind him. The forest seemed alive, but not in a natural way. There were sounds, soft whispers like wind through the trees, but more than that, David felt eyes watching him. A branch snapped to his left. He spun around. Nothing. Then to his right, a rustle in the bushes. He froze. The animal's eyes were still ahead, glowing faintly, but now there was something else. Shadows moved between the trees, too fast for a human to catch. Something was following him. David's heart raced. He tried to call out, but his voice felt small in the vast darkness. Who's there? He shouted. No answer, only the whispers, soft but strange, almost like a language he could not understand. The animal stopped suddenly and turned to face him. Its eyes seemed to shine brighter now. It made a small sound, a chirp or maybe a growl, David could not tell. Then, before he could react, it bolted again, deeper into the forest. David ran after it, trying not to trip over the roots and rocks in the dark. The whispers grew louder, more urgent. David felt a shiver run down his spine. Something was not right. This was not just a lost animal. There was intelligence here. Something watching, something calculating. Suddenly, a faint light appeared between the trees. David squinted. It was small, hovering like a tiny orb of green energy. It moved closer to the animal, circling around it. The animal did not run this time. It seemed waiting. David's mind raced. What was this? Was it some kind of strange technology? Or something else? The whispers seemed to come from all directions now. They were not human words. They were soft, melodic, almost like music, but not music he had ever heard. The forest felt alive and David felt like an intruder. But he could not leave. He had to know what this creature was. He had to help it. The glowing eyes of the animal met his gaze. There was a strange understanding there, almost like it was trying to communicate. David took a deep breath. He stepped forward slowly. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. I promise, he said. The forest fell silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. Then, just as he was about to reach it, a loud snap echoed nearby. David jumped back. The animal disappeared. He ran to where it had been, but the light, the glowing eyes, everything was gone. The forest was dark again, only the whispering remaining. David stood there, chest heaving, heart pounding. He did not understand what he had seen, but he knew one thing. This was not just a lost animal. It was something not from Earth. Something alien. And whatever it was not alone. David took a cautious step back, glancing around the forest. The whispers continued, soft and eerie. He felt the presence again. Watching. Waiting. He knew he could not leave it here. He had to find it. But something told him this search would change everything. The night seemed endless, and the forest around him held secrets that were older than the town, older than him, older than humanity itself. David whispered to himself, I don't know what you are, but I'm going to help you. And somewhere in the darkness, two glowing eyes watched him. David did not sleep that night. The image of the strange animal haunted him. Its glowing eyes, the soft whispers in the forest, the hovering light. He could not forget any of it. By morning he had made a decision. He had to find it again. Whatever this creature was, it needed help and he could not turn away. He packed a small bag, some food, water, and a flashlight. As he stepped out of his house, he noticed how quiet the town was. The streets seemed emptier than usual, almost as if the night had carried the silence with it. David moved toward the edge of the forest, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and curiosity. As he entered the trees, the morning light barely reached the ground. The forest seemed darker than it should have. Leaves rustled in the faint wind, and every shadow looked alive. David whispered to himself, "Where are you, little one?" A faint sound answered him, a soft tapping, almost like claws on wood. David froze. Slowly he followed the sound, his flashlight trembling slightly in his hand. There ahead he saw it. The animal stood on a small rock, its glowing eyes fixed on him. But something was different. It moved in ways no normal animal could. It jumped from the rock to a tree branch, balancing perfectly, then landed silently on the ground. Its body twisted in a way that seemed impossible, almost like it was bending the rules of nature. David blinked, unsure if he was seeing correctly. He approached slowly. "It's okay. I'm here to help." The animal watched him carefully. Then, almost deliberately, it stepped closer. David noticed markings on its fur, tiny, faint lines that shimmered in the soft light. They looked like patterns, almost like symbols. He knelt down and reached out. As his hand got close, the animal froze, then suddenly recoiled. But instead of running away, it made a strange noise, a high-pitched, melodic sound, almost like a small song. David stepped back, startled. He had never heard anything like it. Suddenly, the forest echoed with a new sound. It was faint at first, like a hum, then louder. David turned, shining his flashlight around. There was nothing, but he felt it. The presence of something else. Something intelligent. Watching. Waiting. The animal tilted its head and looked at him. Then, in a voice that was soft and broken, it said words David could understand. "Help. Home." David froze. His mind raced. Was this speaking? He shook his head, thinking he must be imagining things. "Did you just talk?" he asked slowly. The creature chirped again, a tiny glow pulsing from its fur. David noticed more things now. Its eyes were larger than normal, reflecting light in a strange way. Its ears twitched in perfect sync with sounds he could not hear. Its movements were precise, calculated, almost intelligent. The animal took a step closer. David held out his hand slowly. It sniffed his fingers, then nudged them gently. A faint warmth spread through his hand. The glow from its eyes intensified. The markings on its fur shimmered more brightly. David realized something important. It was trying to communicate. Not just with sounds or gestures, but through light, patterns, even energy. He could not explain it, but he felt a connection forming, as if the creature trusted him. Slowly. Suddenly, a rustle came from deeper in the forest. David spun around. Shadows moved between the trees, faster than any human could run. The whispers returned, louder this time, carrying a strange urgency. David's heart raced. The creature stiffened, its fur bristling slightly. David realized that they were not alone. Something else had noticed them. Something that did not belong to this world. He glanced at the animal. Its glowing eyes met his, filled with an intelligence far beyond anything he had ever seen. It seemed to say, "They are coming, we must be careful." David swallowed hard. He had already made a choice. He would protect this creature no matter what. But he felt a chill run down his spine. Whatever was watching them was patient, powerful, and not human. The animal chirped again, louder this time, pulsing a soft green light from its fur. David noticed that the energy seemed to form patterns in the air, like symbols floating just above its body. They were not letters, not numbers, but shapes that seemed to carry meaning. David bent closer, studying them. His mind could not comprehend fully, but he sensed a message: follow, quickly, danger. He looked around. The forest felt alive, the trees almost bending slightly as if they were observing him. He realized this was bigger than a lost animal. This was an encounter. Something extraordinary, something alien. David whispered almost to himself, "I don't know who you are, but I'm going to help you." The whispers grew louder. The shadows moved closer. David knew this was just the beginning. Whatever this creature was, it had a mission. And now he was part of it. He took a cautious step forward, holding out his hand. The creature hesitated for a moment, then stepped into his reach. Its body pulsed with a soft green light, and David felt a surge of energy pass through him. And then in the distance a strange sound echoed, a low hum vibrating through the ground like a call. Both David and the creature froze. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath. Something was coming. something beyond anything David had ever imagined. And they were not ready for it. The forest was quiet after the strange hum faded. David stood still, his eyes fixed on the small creature in front of him. Its glowing eyes pulsed softly like a heartbeat. He could feel its energy, a warmth unlike anything he had experienced before. Something about it was not natural. He crouched down, reaching out slowly. "I need to understand you, please," he whispered. The creature tilted its head, and for a moment, David thought it would flee. But then it did something impossible. Its small body began to float a few inches above the ground. David's mouth fell open. He stumbled back, his hand hovering in midair. The creature's fur shimmered with an ethereal light, and strange patterns appeared around it, like floating symbols in the air. David's heart pounded. You're not from Earth," he breathed. The creature chirped softly, and this time the sound carried a strange rhythm, almost like a song with meaning. Then, in a voice that David could somehow understand, it said clearly, "Home, far." David swallowed hard. "You're alien?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The creature blinked, and its eyes glowed brighter. Symbols formed in the air, like a floating map pointing in a direction deeper into the forest. Suddenly the forest seemed to shift. Light shimmered along the trees, reflecting off leaves in impossible colors. David felt dizzy, overwhelmed. The air smelled metallic yet sweet, like ozone mixed with flowers. The creature floated closer to him, nudging his hand gently. Energy flowed through his body, a connection forming between human and alien. He realized that the patterns were trying to communicate something important. He focused, squinting at the glowing symbols. They weren't random, they were coordinates, instructions, directions. Something, or someone wanted to be found. A low, humming sound suddenly echoed through the forest. David turned sharply. At first he saw nothing, but then a faint silhouette appeared high above the trees. A small, sleek ship hovered silently, almost invisible against the morning light. Its surface shimmered, reflecting the sunlight in unnatural ways. David's pulse raced. The creature's glowing eyes fixed on the ship. It chirped rapidly, and the energy around it intensified. Symbols floated upward like a signal being sent. "They, coming," the creature said. David's mind raced. Who were they? The ship made no sound except the low hum vibrating through the ground. The whispers from before returned, faint but urgent. They were not human, not any language he had ever heard. They were calling, searching. And now they had found the creature. The alien animal floated higher, its fur glowing brighter. Its body pulsed with waves of energy, and David could feel the power vibrating in the air. Something incredible was happening. He had touched a being far beyond his understanding. Then, without warning, the ship moved. It was fast, faster than anything David had ever seen. It swooped down toward the forest clearing, scanning, searching. Shadows moved along the trees, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. David took a cautious step back. He realized he was in danger. The creature chirped again, softer this time. David stepped closer as if drawn to it. "I'll protect you. I swear," he whispered. It seemed to understand him because its glow softened, almost calming him. Suddenly the patterns in the air changed. They formed a circle around them, a protective shield of light. David could see faint figures moving in the distance, agents, alien hunters perhaps, but the shield blocked their view, hiding them from sight. David gasped. You can protect yourself?" he asked. The creature chirped, and the air shimmered. Symbols moved like tiny creatures, tiny sentinels ready to respond. He realized that he was witnessing something no human had ever seen before, a being from another world capable of manipulating reality itself. A thought struck him. If you're from another world, why are you here? Why Earth? The creature's glow pulsed rapidly. Then it formed shapes clearer now. Humans, stars, and ships, images flashing in David's mind. It wanted help. It needed guidance. It had come to Earth for safety, but danger followed it. David felt a chill run down his spine. Whatever threat was coming was closer than he realized. He looked up. The hovering ship had vanished suddenly, faster than his eyes could follow. But the whispers remained, haunting, warning. He knew then that his life had changed forever. He had stumbled upon something extraordinary, something powerful and dangerous. And now he was tied to it. The creature floated toward him, nudging his hand again. Its eyes glowed with a calm, urgent intelligence. "Help, must," it said softly. David nodded, feeling determination rising within him. "I'll help you. No matter what it takes." And somewhere beyond the trees, unseen forces stirred. They had noticed the creature, and now they would not let it go easily. The forest held its breath, waiting. David and the alien creature stood together, united against a threat they could not yet see. But one thing was certain. This was only the beginning. The forest had grown darker by late afternoon. David and the small alien creature moved cautiously, staying close to each other. The creature's glowing eyes lit their path, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Every step they took seemed to echo too loudly in the quiet forest. David could feel eyes on them watching from the shadows. They had not gone far before David noticed movement. Shadows twisted between the trees, faster than any human could move. The forest seemed alive, almost warning them. David's heart pounded. "We're not alone," he whispered. The creature chirped nervously, its glow flickering like a warning light. Then they saw them. Alien agents, humanoid but not human. Their bodies moved with unnatural precision like predators. They did not speak, but David felt their intelligence, cold and calculating. The agent's eyes glowed faintly, scanning, searching. They were hunting the creature. David grabbed the creature gently, holding it close. "We need to move now," he said. The creature chirped softly, nuzzling his hand. Its glow brightened, and for a moment, David felt a rush of warmth and courage. They ran. David's feet pounded the forest floor, dodging roots and rocks. The alien creature floated slightly above the ground, keeping pace with him. David marveled at its speed and agility. It was faster and smarter than any animal he had ever known. Behind them, the agents moved like shadows, silent but relentless. They did not tire. They did not hesitate. Every time David thought they had gained distance, the agents appeared closer, moving through the forest like it was theirs. A low hum filled the air. David looked up. The sky was changing. Strange green lights flickered above the trees, pulsing in rhythm with the creature's glow. Something large was coming, something that made the forest vibrate under David's feet. He swallowed hard. The creature chirped again and nudged him toward a narrow path. David followed, squeezing through dense branches. The forest twisted and turned as if guiding them. But the shadows followed relentlessly. Every step felt dangerous, every sound a threat. Suddenly the forest opened to a small clearing. David stumbled, holding the creature close. He glanced back. The agents were near, moving swiftly. They were smarter than normal predators, calculating, anticipating his every move. The creature hovered in his arms and pulsed its light rapidly. The floating symbols around it formed a protective shield, faint but strong enough to slow the agents. David felt the air hum with energy, a vibration that seemed alive. The aliens hesitated, sensing the power they could not touch. But it was not enough. The agents adapted quickly. They split into two, circling from opposite sides. David knew they had to escape fast or they would be caught. He looked around frantically. Then he saw it, a narrow path leading downhill toward the river that ran at the forest's edge. If they could reach it, they might have a chance. "Come on, we can make it," he whispered. The creature pulsed brightly, almost as if understanding his words. Together they sprinted toward the river, leaping over fallen logs and dodging low-hanging branches. The agents followed, but the creature's glow seemed to confuse them, making the forest itself a maze. As they neared the river, a strange sound echoed above. David looked up. Another ship appeared, small but fast, hovering just above the treetops. Its metallic surface reflected the green glow from the creature. It was another warning or perhaps a rescue. David could not tell. The agents hesitated, glancing at the ship. That was all the time David needed. He reached the riverbank and saw a fallen tree forming a bridge across the water. He leapt onto it, the creature glowing brightly in his arms. The water rushed below, and the forest behind seemed alive with tension. The agents stopped at the edge of the river. They could not follow easily. The creature pulsed one last time, and the symbols around it shimmered with energy. David felt an invisible shield forming around them. For now they were safe. But David knew it would not last long. The forest was silent again, almost deceptively calm. The agents would return, faster, smarter, and more dangerous. Whatever the creature was, it was being hunted relentlessly, and now he was part of its fight. He looked down at the small creature in his arms. Its glowing eyes met his, full of intelligence and trust. David whispered, "We're going to get through this. I won't let them take you." For a moment, the forest seemed to hold its breath. Then the wind shifted, carrying distant, alien whispers. They were coming. And David understood one truth. This chase was only the beginning. The forest stretched endlessly before David. Every tree seemed taller, every shadow darker. Behind him he could feel the presence of the alien agents. they had not given up. The whispers from before returned, faint but urgent, carrying through the trees like a warning. David clutched the glowing creature close. Its light pulsed faster, as if sensing the danger and responding. David ran, slipping over roots and fallen branches. He could hear the hum of their pursuit growing louder, closer. The alien agents were relentless, their movements precise and unstoppable. For the first time, David felt the weight of true fear. This was not just a chase, it was a hunt. Suddenly, the creature stirred in his arms, emitting a brighter pulse of light. Symbols floated around it, forming shapes that David could barely comprehend. Then, to his astonishment, a narrow path opened ahead, lined with strange glowing plants he had never seen before. The forest seemed to be guiding them. David didn't hesitate. He ran toward the path, feeling the creature's energy surge through him. The alien agents followed, leaping effortlessly over obstacles, but the forest now worked against them. Glowing vines stretched across their path, roots twisted in impossible ways, and rocks shifted as if creating barriers. The forest was alive, protecting the creature. As they ran, David noticed a clearing ahead. In the center stood a strange structure, a device half buried in the earth, glowing softly. It was round, metallic, and unlike anything from Earth. The creature pulsed rapidly, floating toward it. David realized immediately, this was their only chance. He ran faster, dodging branches and undergrowth. The alien agents were close, almost within reach. One agent leapt toward him, its hands outstretched, but the creature's light flared, and a wave of energy pushed the agent back. David barely kept his balance, but he kept moving. They reached the device. The creature hovered above it, its eyes glowing with intense energy. Symbols swirled in the air, forming patterns that seemed to resonate with the machine. David could feel the air around him vibrating, heavy with power. Something incredible was about to happen. He whispered, "Do it, whatever you need to do." The creature pulsed brighter, and a beam of light shot from it into the device. The machine activated with a low hum, opening a circular portal in the air. Its surface shimmered like water, reflecting the forest in waves. David's heart raced. This was it, their escape. The alien agents reached the clearing. They moved quickly, too quickly. One lunged for David, but the portal pulsed violently. A wave of energy knocked the agents backward, giving David a precious few seconds. He grabbed the creature, holding it tightly. "Hold on," he shouted, running toward the portal. The creature chirped, almost as if encouraging him. David leapt, the portal's surface rippling beneath him. He felt a strange sensation, weightless like falling through light. The energy of the creature and the machine surrounded him, warm and powerful. The alien agents tried to follow, but they could not. The portal closed with a sudden flash of green light, leaving only the still forest behind. David stumbled, landing on soft ground. He looked around, disoriented, blinking against the strange light. They were somewhere else. Not Earth. The sky was tinted with green and purple hues, and two suns shone above. The air smelled sweet, with a faint metallic tang. Strange plants glowed softly, lighting the ground in a gentle radiance. David held the creature close, his mind racing. The creature floated slightly above the ground, its glow softening. Its eyes met David's, and for the first time it seemed relaxed. It chirped softly, forming patterns in the air. David could feel the meaning in those shapes. Safe, for now. But David knew better. The alien agents would not stop. They were relentless, and this world was unknown to him. Yet, as he looked around at the glowing forest and the alien sky, he felt awe as well as fear. He took a deep breath. "We made it, but this is just the beginning," he whispered. The creature pulsed in agreement, nudging his hand gently. David realized that he had entered a new reality, a world full of wonders, dangers, and mysteries beyond anything he had ever imagined. Somewhere in the distance he could see movement, strange creatures watching from the shadows, some friendly, some hostile. The wind carried whispers in a language he could not understand. But the creature's glow guided him, a beacon of hope in this alien land. David knelt down, examining the area. The portal had left faint traces in the air, a reminder that they could escape if necessary. But he had a feeling they would have to face the dangers of this world soon. He whispered again, more determined now, "We will face it together. I will protect you, no matter what." The creature's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and the symbols around it pulsed in harmony with his heartbeat. David realized then that their journey was far from over. This escape was only the first step into a much larger adventure. And as he looked at the alien horizon, he understood one thing. The universe was bigger, stranger, and more dangerous than he had ever imagined. The hunt was over, for now. But the real challenge had only just begun. David blinked against the bright light of the alien sky. The air shimmered in colors he had never seen before, greens, purples, and blues mixed together like a living painting. The ground beneath him glowed faintly, lighting the strange plants and rocks scattered around. He held the small alien creature close, its soft pulsing glow warming his hands. For a moment, David felt awe, almost forgetting the danger that had chased them. "Where are we?" he whispered. The creature chirped softly, its glowing eyes scanning the surroundings. The symbols it formed in the air were clear now: home, safe, for now. David took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. He had escaped the alien agents, the dangerous forest, and the portal had brought them to this unknown world. But he knew the agents would not give up. They would find them eventually. For now, though, he had a moment of peace. The alien creature floated slightly above the ground, nudging him forward. David followed cautiously. The air smelled sweet and metallic, like fresh rain on machinery. The sky had two suns, smaller than Earth's sun, but brighter and warmer. Shadows moved in the distance. David squinted. There were strange creatures lurking, some moving gracefully, others hiding behind glowing plants. The creature chirped again, forming patterns of light. David studied them. They seemed to tell a story of this world, a planet far from Earth, full of life but also full of dangers. He realized this place was home to beings more advanced than humans, yet some of them were hostile. Suddenly, a movement caught his eye. A large creature with wings like glass rose from behind a hill. Its body shimmered, reflecting the alien suns. It screeched, loud and powerful, and took flight. David froze, unsure whether it was friendly or hostile. The small creature in his arms glowed brighter, almost as if warning him. David whispered, "We need to stay calm, we can't fight everything." But the wind carried a low hum. Not from the creature, not from the environment, it was a sound that sent chills down his spine. Something was approaching, intelligent and aware. The creature floated higher, pulsing rapidly. David realized it was preparing him, preparing itself. Its eyes met his. For the first time, David understood. This being was not just an animal. It was a guide, a protector, and perhaps a key to surviving in this world. As they moved forward, David noticed other life forms emerging from the shadows. Some had multiple limbs, others had glowing patterns across their bodies. They watched silently, curious but cautious. The alien creature chirped, forming protective symbols around David. They moved like tiny shields, keeping the stranger creatures at bay. David marveled at the intelligence of the creature. It was teaching him without words, showing him the ways of this world, its dangers and its paths. Every step was a lesson. Every sound was a warning. Suddenly, in the distance, he saw a structure unlike anything on Earth. A city made of floating platforms, glowing softly in the alien sunlight. Ships hovered above it, sleek and silent, moving with precision. The alien creature pulsed rapidly, pointing him in that direction. David realized that this might be the home of its people, a place of safety, or perhaps a place of answers. He held the creature tightly. "We'll get there," he whispered. "I'll protect you." The creature chirped, and the patterns it made in the air seemed to echo his words. Together, survive, learn. David felt a connection, stronger than anything he had experienced before. He was no longer just a human on Earth. He had become part of something bigger, part of a world he could barely comprehend. A rustling sound made him turn. From the distant hills, shadows moved again, familiar ones. The agents had not stopped searching. David's heart sank. They were relentless. But now he had allies, guidance, and a new understanding of the creature's power. The suns dipped lower, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The glowing plants illuminated the ground, creating a surreal landscape that felt both magical and dangerous. David took a deep breath. He had survived Earth's dangers, the alien agents, and the unknown journey through the portal. But now the real challenge awaited. He looked down at the creature in his arms. Its eyes glowed warmly, pulsing in sync with his heartbeat. For the first time, David felt hope. He understood that this world was full of mysteries, but he was ready to face them. Together they would explore, survive, and perhaps even change the fate of this alien planet. David whispered again, more determined now, "We've come this far. We won't stop now. Whatever comes next, we'll face it, together." And as the sun set behind the glowing hills, David and the alien creature took their first steps into the unknown, ready for the adventures, dangers, and wonders that awaited them. The universe was vast, strange, and full of possibilities. But one thing was certain: David's life had changed forever.